let's talk about empathy and compassion, shall we? And let's start with empathy. So what is empathy? Well, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. And what is compassion, you may ask? Well, compassion is the sympathetic concern for the suffering or misfortune of another that motivates us to help relieve the physical, mental, or emotional pain of another and or ourselves. This latest is called self-compassion. In other words, empathy is the capability to tune into someone else's emotions and feel what they are feeling, relating it back to a time when we experienced something similar. And compassion is a deep concern for the well being and happiness of another, and a genuine motivation to help ease someone's suffering. So you see, there is a difference. And while both compassion and empathy are important for us to be able to maintain and nurture deep, genuine, and meaningful relationships, they are different in nature. So, empathy, let's say, is the base. Without empathy, there is no compassion. If you cannot feel and relate to another person's discomfort, worry, anxiety, fear, pain, or suffering from an emotional understanding, you cannot act out of compassion. You can still perform acts of kindness, so to speak, perhaps from an intellectual perspective. You understand that something is wrong and that the other person is experiencing some kind of distressing or painful event. And since you can, you offer help. But this is not compassion. The motivation is mental and comes from a sense of understanding, but not from a sense of deep feeling. I hope that makes sense. Regardless, it is still an act of kindness, so to speak, and in many cases, it makes no difference what the motivation was behind an act that helped another. But back to empathy and compassion. So, empathy helps us nurture and deepen our relationships as it lays the groundwork for deeper connections by making our interactions more heartfelt, understanding, supportive, and genuine. We can emotionally relate. It's it's about being present and attuned to other people's emotions and responding with understanding because we've been there. We felt this before. Now, compassion is taking empathy to the next level, so to speak, because now we genuinely want to help someone feel better. We want to alleviate their stress, their anxiety, their fear, their pain. We want it to stop. We just want them to be okay. And we are prepared to do that some way that we can. Like a fairy godmother or a fairy godfather, wave a magic wand around and make it all go away, make it all okay. And that is compassion. But of course, we can't do that. We don't walk around with our magic wands and we cannot perform such acts. So we try to do what we can, where we can, in a way we can, that could make a positive difference in someone's life. You get what I'm saying, right? So, in simple terms, the difference between the two is that empathy is the emotion and compassion is the action that springs from it. That empathy is inward, as it is a deep feeling while compassion is the outward action. And that empathy may only be a short lived emotional connection with another, while compassion can have lasting effects on another's life. Now, of course, we can't go around and save everyone and help everyone we meet. And feel deep empathy towards others doesn't mean that we should be constantly carrying the weight of everyone's suffering in the world, because it is draining and it can be debilitating. So we must make sure that we take good care of our mental, emotional, and physical well-being before we can help others, because we cannot pour from an empty cup, right? There is a great quote by Anne Lamott that goes like this: lighthouses don't go running all over an island looking for boats to save. They just stand there shining. So we can cultivate compassion by practicing kindness, by actually listening with genuine intent to hear the other. We can give what we can the way we can, maybe donating to charity, volunteering, or simply giving a hand to someone. Compassion as an action doesn't have to be big. Small acts of genuine care and kindness can make a huge difference in someone's day, in someone's life. So let's keep it real. And I hope you enjoyed this recording. And if so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll leave you with all of this for now, but I hope to see you next time.